Test 3-1 review, this is going to be Lock 4. So for our first problem here, it says, which graph below represents a rotation? Now, a rotation is a turn. So for the right arrow here, I see that this is actually going to be a reflection over the y-axis. I know this because my shapes are facing each other. So the right arrow is not correct. Looking at the up arrow, I see this is a reflection over the x-axis. So again, not a rotation. Looking at the left arrow, I see that my image has slid across, and I know it slid because after the transformation, my shape still faces in the same direction. So this is also not a rotation. But looking at the down arrow, this is a turn. My shape just turned. So the down arrow is going to be your answer for an example of a rotation. Looking at your next problem, we want to know the rule for a 90 degrees counterclockwise rotation. Now for this, I'm going to go off to the side and I'm going to go ahead and draw our coordinate grid to help us answer the following problems. So here, I'm going to start off with counterclockwise. So here I have a 0 degree rotation. That means nothing should have changed. Everything is the same. So your rule is XY. Then I go ahead and turn one time. So this is a 90 degree rotation counterclockwise. Since I'm going counterclockwise, that means I turn left. So with a 90 degree counterclockwise, if you remember the hand trick, Y comes before X. Now, your first letter is going to get the negative, and that is because the coordinates are negative, positive here. So that lets you know that your first value becomes negative, your second value becomes positive. If I keep going, this is a 180 degree rotation, and in this rotation, remember X and Y do not flip. They stay the same, and this is the easiest rule to remember because they both change. They both get negatives. And then I have a 270 degree rotation. And in a 270 degree rotation, remember Y comes before X. And again, remember this is counterclockwise. And a little trick that I have shown my students is that whenever you're counting, 90 does come first, and then 270 comes second. So 90 degrees comes first, so your first letter gets the negative. 270 comes second, so your second letter is going to get the negative. So that is your rule for a 270 degree counterclockwise rotation. Now, if you are going clockwise, so clockwise means you are going right. You are going to turn your tracing paper. You're going to turn your tracing paper to the right. So now instead of going left, I'm going to go right, and this rule is now a 90 degree clockwise rotation. If I keep going, 180 degrees clockwise and 180 degrees counterclockwise are always going to have the same rule. And if I turn 3 times clockwise, this is 270 degree clockwise. So nothing changed. Now you just got to remember to go the opposite way to get your new rules. So now let's go ahead and answer our questions. It says, which rule below represents a 90 degrees counterclockwise rotation? So if I reference here, the one that represents a 90 degree counterclockwise rotation is going to be negative Y, comma, X. So here your up arrow is going to be your answer. Looking at my next example, it says, which rule represents a 90 degree counterclockwise rotation? So again, I'm going to 90 degree clockwise rotation, and I have Y, comma, negative X. So here, the right arrow is going to be your answer. Then it says, which rule below represents a 180 degree rotation? Remember, that's the easiest rule to remember because they stay in order and they both change. They both get a negative. So here, your answer is going to be the right arrow. So on lock 1, you should have down, up, right, right, and then we have the back page. If you were not able to copy this chart down here, I would really copy that down and study that. You will have one question going over rotations though, and it's just the rule that you have to remember. So remember those rules. On the back page, it says a shape is shown below. Which of the following correctly represents a 270-degree clockwise rotation? So this means I'm turning my smiley face to the right. So when I turn my smiley face to the right 90 degrees, it looks like this. If I keep turning it 180 degrees, it goes upside down. Then if I turn it 270 degrees, it looks like this one right here. So your answer choice here is going to be the right arrow. And that completes test 3-1 review.